Section 2.6, finding. You realize the word percent is not grammatically correct, it's percentage. Finding percentages. Or what I like to call, I call these is of percent questions. Okay, which one do you like? I'm not doing 19, that's 50% is what? Half. What's half of 160? Yes, ma'am. 41? Yes, but not just right away yet. We will get back to the word questions, though, yes. How about, let's make one up. Or how about 23? What's 16%? What is that? 23. What is 16% of 30? Again, we're going to have 5 options. Option 1. I call it, I just know. Have you ever had that in life? You just know an answer and somebody asks you to explain and you're like, how'd you get that? I don't know. I just know that's the answer.
Yeah.
In my class, it's perfectly legitimate because I've done it too. Especially, I don't know if you remember those, like, oh, you're going to go to the hardware store and buy grass seed. You want so much of this and so much of this, how much of it? And it jumps in my head. And my friend, how do you know that? I don't know. I can't explain it. I just do. I'm sorry. Why would I ask you to show your work if you're being brilliant? If you're getting in touch with your inner Sheldon Cooper and boom, you just know the answer. That's okay because that's real life. We're not going to talk much about option 1 though, because not a whole lot we can do to explain that. You either know it or you don't. And anybody ever go shopping with somebody who's got that, I call it the shopping gene? You're walking down the thing, they go, oh, 15% off. Oh, those shoes are now $63. How do you do that? That's especially annoying to me. I'm supposed to be the math guy, and she's doing it like that before I can do it. I don't have that shopping gene, but it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's like,
what is this? What does this mean?
Exactly. And other people are like, oh, okay, perfectly legitimate in my class. Now, the drawback to this is if you write me an answer and it's wrong, I have no way to help you. I can't give you any partial credit because I don't know what you did. $63. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 72. I give you partial credit based on what I see. What I see that you did right. If all I see is an answer and it ain't right. Option 2.
Hey, we're not going to go over how you know option.
How do you explain I just know?
I don't know.
Exactly. I don't either. That's why we're not. All I'm saying is that if you use that method, it's okay in my class. Okay. A lot of other instructors would be like, no, I want to see your work. God, there was an instructor at Ivy Tech I knew. 2 students brought me their test. One had partial work and the answer, and it was marked wrong. The other person just had the answer, no work, and it was marked right. Because the guy said, well, you didn't show all your work. I guess he basically was accusing the other guy of cheating. It made no sense to me. I call this trial and error. Yes, you can use trial and error in math. Any math person ever told you that before? You use it in real life, don't you? Mm-hmm. What? And math was supposed to be about problem solving, not about memorizing formulas and when to use them. With trial and error, you have 3 options, or 3 choices, 3 possibilities. I'm going to have right bigger. What are they? Well, let's see what makes sense. Would it make sense to add these numbers? How do you add a percent with a real number? So if adding's out, the subtraction makes sense. No. What about multiply? Can you multiply those two numbers? Can you multiply a percent times? Yes, you can. So multiply is one option. The one possibility. Well, if you can multiply, would divide be a possibility? Yeah, because they're interchange, they undo each other. So yeah, we can divide. So what's the third possibility? Bingo. Would you agree that 20 divided by 2 is not the same answer as 2 divided by 20? So we could divide it one way and then we could try dividing it the other way. Brilliant. You're the first one, and I don't know how long that's actually come up with that. I think I have to tell everybody. People go, how about square root? Would that make any sense here? I understand they're just grasping at straws, but square root, there's no squares. How do you square root a percent? Okay, so for multiplying, it would be 16% times 30, which is, okay. Can you multiply a percent times a number? Why not? It's not really a number, is it? Have you ever seen a number line with the number 16% on it? No. So what can you do with it? Change it to a decimal. How do you change a percent to a decimal?
21.
How'd you come up with that?
I just know.
You just know? What dot?
The visible one, 6.
Where is the decimal point if you don't see it? Yeah, it's to the far right. And you're going to move it how far? Why?
Percentage works.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
You actually already know. What does percent mean?
Oh,
Per 100, right? Here's a little hack for you. I thought I'd maybe introduce it, maybe not. Craig's hack is 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. It works going both directions. When you multiply or divide by 100, all you're doing is moving the decimal place. Decimals always look smaller than the percent. Have you ever seen a decimal that looks bigger than a percent? So one option, yeah, move it 2 to the left, 0.16. That's one option. What's another option? 16% for what it means 16 out of 100. Can you change from a fraction to a decimal? You can either do 16 divided by 100 or 100 divided by 16. Which one makes sense? 16 divided by 100, your calculator will tell you 1.16. 100 divided by 16 is 6 point something. Does that make sense? Why not? Would you agree that your fraction is way smaller than 1? How do you have a fraction that's smaller than 1 be equal to a decimal that's bigger than 1? Does that make any sense? How many rules have I quoted to you? None. It all goes back to, does it make sense? I don't memorize any rules anymore. I ask, does that make sense? No, so I'm not going to do it. This one does make sense. So we use it. 0.16 times 30 is, what's that? 4.8. Now, does that make sense as an answer?
Yeah.
Well, plug it in. 4.8 is 16% of 30. 16% is not really big, is it? So is 4.8 very big compared to 30? No, not really. So does it make sense? How about if we divide instead? 16% divided by 30. We already know this is 0.16 divided by 30 is 0.05. I don't know. Somebody check my math. This is Tuesday morning. Oh, there's another zero in there? See, didn't I tell you don't trust Craig when he does math in his head? Repeating, right? Does that make sense as an answer? Plug it back in. 0.0053 is 16% of 30. Yeah, I agree. That makes no sense at all. If we tried dividing it the other way, 30 divided by 16%. 30 divided by 0.16 is, what was it? 180.75?
187.5.
Oh, 187.5. That's better. Does that make sense? 187.5 is 16% of 30. Yeah. The advantage to option 2, trial and error. Only one of the three will make sense. The disadvantage, you might have to do all three before you find it. But you can still get there. I think of trial and error as my safety net. If I get confused, I just go back and try this. All else fails, this will work. Would you be interested in a few other methods that might be a little less work? Everybody got all this? Not yet? Okay. Can I erase over here? And I understand a lot of times when it's new, you're going, I need to just watch this and then I'll write this down. Because yeah, sometimes when you're going up and down, yeah. Thank God I'm not like that. One instructor I heard about it, he would write with one hand and carry the eraser with the other hand. And he'd write and he'd erase as he's going along. You spent the entire class time writing down furiously whatever he's writing on the board. No time for questions, no nothing. You either write it down or good luck. That's why they call them lecturers, because all they do is lecture. No explanation. No, here's your information. We all set? Thank you. Okay. Option 3. What color you want? What?